Hello, I'm Angie from Tablescape Tales by Wish Upon a Style. I'm a home stylist with an absolute love for entertaining at home, and I'm always encouraging others to entertain their family and friends at home. It's one reason I started this YouTube channel, really to share my tips and tricks and secrets with you all. Now, a major part, of course, of entertaining is to create beautiful table settings, but I know that this can be very expensive to start up a collection of tableware, glassware, cutlery and all the things you need to create beautiful tablescapes. And so I'm always on the lookout for bargains, and today is no exception. And if you're wondering actually what the inspiration was for this tropical setting, I'm going to share that with you now. And I think this particular tablescape would be ideal, you know, if you're inviting family or friends over for an al fresco lunch or dinner party. And well, if the weather's not very good, if it's cold and rainy, maybe that's even more reason to create this tropical setting inside. Just bring a paradise setting inside for you and your guests. Now, what really inspired me to create this was a bargain that I found when I was shopping today at the low-cost supermarket, LIDL. Now, there's probably a Lidl somewhere near you. I think they're in about 36 countries now, but wherever you're watching from, there's bound to be a low-cost store, perhaps something like Dollar Store. And if not, of course, you can always shop online and find some similar items. But I really am on a mission to show you how inexpensive creating beautiful settings can be. And today's tutorial, where you'll find that I'm using lots of bargains, not just from Lidl's, but from PRIMARK, MATALAN and the Range. I've tried to use budget items wherever I can, and well, I'll go through each one as we go through this tutorial. So I hope you're going to enjoy this. I've certainly enjoyed making it for you, and well, if you do enjoy it, perhaps you'll watch some future episodes and hit that subscribe button so you won't miss any notifications. Anyway, this tutorial on a tropical tablescape is coming next. These enormous placemats cost me just £4.99 for a pack of 4, and I'm not using them as placemats. I'm going to be using them to form a runner across the centre of the table. And speaking of tables, I think a wood or glass table would work best with this nature-inspired theme, in preference to a tablecloth, but of course it's all a matter of personal taste. Now, for the centre of the table, I've actually made 3 flower wreaths, which I'm going to be showing you now, but you could just as easily buy a kit to make one yourself from somewhere like Hobbycraft. And if you didn't want to go to the trouble of making one yourself, then I'm sure you could order flower wreaths online from somewhere like Amazon or Etsy or eBay. Now, you do want to have some kind of wow factor for your guests, but if you have centerpieces that are too high, they won't be a good idea if they obstruct the view of the guests. This one actually is too low. It doesn't really add any impact at all, so I've got a plan. I've got some more artificial flowers, so I'm going to put them in a piece of oasis, and I'll just put those right in the middle, as you see now, just to add some height. But you could just as easily, of course, add a church candle or perhaps a vase of flowers. And that's now the centerpiece for my table. Actually, I'm adding some flowers, and as you can see, that gold leaf, I've got a feeling I may be removing that gold leaf by the end. I don't think it's going to add much to the centerpiece, but that's okay. You can kind of change things as you go along if you're not completely happy. Now, my next bargain are these shabby chic candles. So I'm just putting those on either side, and they cost just £6.99 each from the Range. And I think they're quite a bargain too. I think they look a lot more expensive than that. And you could, of course, just put a church candle on top, which is fine. What I'm going to do is another of my tricks. So I'm going to put one of my chargers on top and then secure that with some double-sided tape so it's quite safe and secure. And then I'll put my handmade wreath just on top of that. And then pride of place in the middle will be a church candle. And I'll now do the same for the candle at the other end of the table. And I think you can see that I've made sure that they don't obstruct the view. They're away from the chairs, but they will add a bit of a wow factor when your guests arrive. And you could, of course, just leave the centerpiece just like this with these 3 pieces. I think that would be fine, but I just want to try to add a few extra things. And here you see a pair of faux candles. They are so pretty. They're battery operated. They have a pale pink glow and also a flickering flame. They look quite realistic. And these are also from the range. Now, something I use quite a lot when I'm home styling, and especially when I'm entertaining, are fairy lights. I don't save them for Christmas. I tend to use them a lot, especially on my table settings. And as you can see, I've decided now to wind a string of fairy lights around the centre of the table. Actually, I didn't realise this string of fairy lights was so long. I probably would have gone for some shorter ones, but never mind, I'm going to persevere now, and I'll wind them round the table and then round that central flower arrangement and then right along to the other candlestick. And I think when night falls and we've got the candles alight, both the real candles, the faux candles and the fairy lights, they're just going to look so pretty and just light up the whole table setting. So we could stop there. Once again, I've got another idea, something I really want to show you because it is another bargain. And these are my candle votive tea light holders from Primark. They cost me just £2 each. The ones I have here are a pink glass candle holder. You can get them in clear glass as well. And as you can see, I'm now going to put them down as votive holders. Actually, there are a couple of things I don't skimp on, and that is both artificial flowers and wax candles. I always try to buy the most expensive ones I can afford. And if I simply turn these tea light holders upside down, they will become candlestick holders, as you will soon see. Now, colour schemes, of course, play a major role in your table arrangements, and I tend to go for no more than 3 colours. And in this case, as you can see, I'm going for greens, different shades of pinks, and I'll also be using accents of rose gold. Now, here's my trick for making your everyday white dinner china look very special. You might be surprised when you see what it is, but I'm going to be using disposable partyware. Yes, those paper plates come in very handy. You can buy such pretty ones now. So what I'm going to do is place those just on top of the main dinner plate, and then I'll put whatever plate I'm using for the starter on top of that. Now, I won't be using the paper plates to eat from. They really are just used for decor, so that when you finish the first course and you remove the first course plate, you can remove the disposable plate as well, and you're left with the dinner plate. But it does really make those everyday plates look that extra bit special. As you can see, this tropical tablescape is beginning to take shape now. When choosing cutlery or silverware, I try to ensure that they complement the place settings, and on this occasion I'm going to be using rose gold cutlery. It's going to be a very informal setting, so all I need at the moment are knives, forks and spoons. But if I were doing a formal place setting, then of course we would need a lot more cutlery and silverware, and I'll go into that in a future tutorial. Suffice to say that forks always go to the left-hand side of your place setting, knives to the right, spoons usually go to the right-hand side next to your knives, but occasionally they can go at the top of the place setting. Knife blades, of course, always face inwards towards your plate, And well, the history of that goes back hundreds of years, actually to medieval times, when knives were extremely sharp and sometimes used as weapons. So it was considered very rude to have the knife's blade facing the person sitting next to you, and could be downright dangerous. And an interesting fact about forks, were you aware that they were first invented in Italy, and that was to make it much easier to eat pasta? As you can see, I haven't quite finished with the table centerpiece. I decided just to add a few more artificial flowers. After all, this is going to be a tropical tablescape. I think we can go a little bit over the top with this and add some vibrant colour. I'm absolutely delighted to have found some beautiful rose gold ombre effect glassware or stemware. These come from MATALAN, so are very inexpensive. And I've got champagne flutes, as you can see, and wine glasses. And glassware should always be placed on the right-hand side of your place setting above your knives. Now, I always use napkins as a rule, but on this occasion, I've broken a rule and I'm using paper serviettes because these serviettes match perfectly with those disposable plates. And I've actually folded them into a palm leaf shape. Now, I've changed my mind because I've just remembered that I have some very elegant gold napkin rings. I'm going to try placing the serviettes into the napkin rings. You'll see that in just a moment. And if you're wondering how I made this napkin fold, then you don't need to wonder anymore. I'm going to be showing you that next. Now, I have a question for you. When you're entertaining family and friends at home and you're about to set the table, what do you do with your napkins or paper serviettes? For instance, if you've got a paper serviette like this, do you just take it and then open it up, find the middle, hold it like that, take your other hand and just move it up like that with a bit of a flourish, and then stick it in your glass, and that's it? Please don't do that. Let's get rid of it. Let me show you a way that you can fold your napkins. It takes a few seconds longer, but it looks so much more impressive. Especially if you've got a tropical theme like we've got here today. I'm going to show you how to make a palm leaf just in a few seconds more. So let's just put this glass down here, for the time being, and here we go. So just take your paper serviette. You can do this obviously with a napkin as well. So just take it here, and what you're going to do is you're going to move the two points up to join together and make a triangle. So just press that down. The trick, of course, to any serviette or napkin folding is to keep pressing as you go along. That way the napkin fold will just stay. So you've now got your central point there and you've got your triangle. All you do now is fold it, pleat it, right from the fold in the middle like that, and just keep turning it over and pleating it. And you'll see how quick this is because I'm doing it in real time, and it really just takes a few seconds longer to do, but as you'll see in a second, it's going to look so much more impressive. Now you'll be left with a tiny little point like that. Just fold it over, put your forefinger right in the middle and hold the serviette up like that so that the 2 points meet. Give it a good press like that, and here you have, just a few seconds more, you have your palm leaf. Doesn't that look much more impressive? Do you remember at the beginning of this tutorial when I put a gold leaf sticking out of the centerpiece there and I said I might remove it? Well, as you can see, I did. And that's something, you know, that you can always do. It's always a good idea when you've finished your table arrangement to walk all the way around the table and just check that it's exactly the way you want it. And then you can always remove something. It's always good to have your table slightly understated than just too much going on. And, you know, I always go by the famous saying of Coco Chanel, and of course she applied it to her personal styling and styling others, and she would say that, look, once you're dressed, before you leave the house, look in the mirror and take one thing off. And the same thing can be applied to your table arrangements as I've done here. Well, everything's ready. I've got the champagne on ice. This evening's meal is all ready, and whilst I'm waiting for my friends to arrive, I've actually had a chance to put together a really lovely playlist of music, so that's going to add to the atmosphere. And now I'm off to mix up a couple of exotic cocktails. After all, this is a tropical theme and a tropical evening, so I'm really looking forward to spending a lovely evening with some very close friends. After all, you know, that's what entertaining at home is all about, isn't it? It's inviting those people who mean so much to you over and perhaps sharing memories and making new memories around that dining room table, kitchen table or garden table. That's really the most important thing. If you've enjoyed today's tutorial and you're going to try some of the suggestions that I've mentioned, then please send in some photos and images of your table settings. I would just love to see them. And don't forget, please hit that subscribe bell if you want to subscribe to my channel. It's absolutely free, and that way you won't miss any future tutorials. So what I want to say now is be happy, be healthy, and always be stylish.